The Nazi leader and German dictator Adolf Hitler took his own life on April 30th, 1945 by shooting himself in a Berlin bunker as the British, Americans, and Soviets closed in around him. The day before he ended his life, he had married his longtime mistress Eva Braun, who joined him in suicide by ingesting a cyanide pill. To test the pills, Hitler first fed one to his dog Blondie to make sure they worked. The day before Hitler's death, he dictated his final will and testament. Hitler's first order of business was to explain his motives for finally marrying his mistress of 16 years. Essentially, Hitler explained he had been too busy to be a proper husband.
There was a time where Eva Braun wanted Hitler to marry her.
Hitler sagte, ich werde nie heiraten.
Hitler said, I shall never marry.
Now that he was losing the war, however, he decided he would take Braun as his wife. Hitler's will read, I have now decided, before the closing of my earthly career, to take as my wife that girl who, after many years of faithful friendship, entered of her own free will the practically besieged town in order to share her destiny with me. At her own desire, she goes as my wife with me into death. At this point, Hitler's regime had overseen the killing of an estimated 17 million people. The Nazi Party sought to eliminate various ethnic groups, most commonly Jews, and others who were deemed tainted in some way, including Romani travelers, homosexuals, criminals, and the disabled. While Hitler's plans were abhorrent by almost any standards, Eva Braun was genuinely dedicated to her lover, even as he doled out his affection in crumbs. At least that's the way Braun made it sound in her 1935 diary entries, written when she was just 23 years old. At the end of her anguished entries and want of Hitler's love and attention, Braun says she has written to him one last time, and if he didn't respond, she was going to take 35 pills and end her life. She soon followed through on this threat. Though her attempt was unsuccessful, it did at least grab the Führer's attention. He even added her to his first will in 1938. In that testament, Braun was placed at the top. It stated that if Hitler were to die, Braun would receive a certain amount of money per year for the rest of her life. For her part, she remained ever loyal to her Führer, writing in a letter, From our first meeting, I swore to follow you anywhere, even unto death. I live only for your love. Hitler wrote that early version of his will by hand and signed it on May 2, 1938. It is theorized he had it made not because he feared death by his enemies, but because he had fistulas and thought he might have cancer. This initial version of Hitler's will was later discovered in the ruins of the Reichschancellery in 1945, but his final will was written in an entirely different light. He knew by April 1945 that he was beaten, and had decided to end his life rather than face his captors-to-be. Since he didn't have any children, Hitler said in his final will that he wanted to leave his possessions to the party. He wrote, Should this no longer exist, to the state. Should the state also be destroyed, no further decision of mine is necessary. Hitler also requested his collected photos be added to a gallery in his hometown. He named his Nazi comrade Martin Bormann his executor. Bormann was also tasked with working out what items may have sentimental value to Hitler's family, along with any resources to ensure they had enough for the maintenance of a modest, simple life. Above all, Hitler wanted to ensure Braun's mother and his own colleagues were well taken care of. Finally, Hitler's will stated that he and his wife's bodies should be burned immediately on the spot, as the dictator feared his body being put on view by the Allies. Subsequently, his aide secured at least 47 gallons of gasoline. They burned Hitler and Braun's bodies over the span of 2.5 hours until there was nothing left but ash. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more grunge videos about historical figures are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.